So I am just going to welcome our panel today. We're joined, of course, by Ken from Martech and Caleb from GoTransit. We're also joined today by Bridget, one of the senior product managers at MYOB. Welcome, Bridget. We have Kamea from Kilimanjaro, one of the senior consultants in that team, and of course, also joined by Ronnie. The world's most valuable resource is no longer oil, but data. This is a really interesting quote in The Economist back in 2017. Others have expanded upon this, suggesting that data is the most valuable asset a company owns. With this in mind, Ronnie, do you mind if I ask, how important is data to your organization?
Steve, I think data is incredibly important. We've always collected data and it's always been there, and we just haven't utilized it. And it's a little bit like sitting on a piece of land in Texas that's got oil underneath the surface and you just don't know about it. And when you find out that it's valuable, you start pumping it out. And I think this is probably where we are in the cycle of evolution now. We're realizing that the data is valuable as oil. And we're going through a process now of learning how to refine it and to take the bits that we need and that can give us insights. I think with the advent, you'll probably talk about this later, but with the advent of data analytics and probably later artificial intelligence, we will be in a much better position to get insights out of our data. And I don't think we've yet scratched the surface of how important it is for us and valuable.
Absolutely. Just going on from there, Caleb, welcome to today's session. How do you maximize the value of your data while ensuring it's available to the right people at GoTransit in the right place at the right time?
Yeah, look, I think for us, we being a sales organization and an advertising organization, we're always looking for trends similar to what Ronnie was sharing about earlier, trying to find out what is the reality and what things are influencing the way that the market is moving. So we definitely place a lot of value in getting the numbers on the screen and looking through it all, but we do actually still lean back towards that gut instinct moment, because sometimes there is information that might show a positive result, but without sort of experience and I guess that know-how of the business, you might look at some of the things and go, wow, look at that's performing really, really well. But I think that one of the values is to actually then to ask questions about that and go, okay, well, does that actually make sense? And it made me think of even just expressing that example that Ronnie gave.
Caleb, you've accidentally muted. I think you might have hit a space bar or something.
I did space bar as I was talking. So what I was saying was that, like that example Ronnie was sharing about people searching for a mountain, you've got to ask questions of the data. And so I think that's definitely one of the ways that we do it. We've got all the information at hand thanks to the products that are there, but we've got to really go through them and ask questions about what those results are showing us.
That's great. Now, it's been said that without a systematic way to start and keep data clean, that bad data will happen. Ken, I'm interested to hear from you in terms of the importance of data hygiene at Martech and the steps that you can take to ensure that the hygiene of your data.
Yeah, it's critical to us in our business. As some of you know, we've swapped over from EXO to Advanced about 6 months ago. So we went through a huge data cleansing process just before we moved into Advanced. And I guess the mindset within the business is now that's an ongoing process. People are now looking at the information that's coming in and using it and changing it and actually getting rid of the stuff that we don't need. And going back to Ronnie's comments about precision and accuracy, we're starting to be, I guess, aware of precision and accuracy, because precision and accuracy comes at a cost. You can be super precise and super accurate, but it's going to cost maybe more than what the value of the data is. So we spend a lot of time on keeping things clean. Moving to a new system forces you to do that. And I'll give you a really quick example of why it's so important. We're based in western suburbs of Sydney. So yesterday was 35 degrees. Today is about 38. We sell ceiling fans for a living. We sold more ceiling fans yesterday than any other day this year because the summer last year was so bad. So we're now starting to look at data from a different, we want to know now from the Bureau of Meteorology, what's the temperature forecast going to be between now and the end of the year so that we can start to think about and plan what we need to do for stock and inventory management and all that kind of stuff. It's a little quirky thing, but in our business, it's absolutely critical.
Yep. It's interesting, isn't it? You've got a fantastic leading indicator there in terms of revenue and what's going to happen in the market. Lots of other organisations would wish that they had that sort of leading indicator that you do. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty hot summer in Sydney.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Now, Bridget, I'd love to get you involved in this conversation. Welcome. Let me ask you, what are the features within Advanced that you're most excited about in terms of how to assist clients to analyse data?
Thanks, Stephen. And hello, everyone. Look, I think that there's some really interesting and exciting features that people who are using the platform. For example, one of the things that people can now use is our generic inquiries and our sidebars. So it means that while you have information on your screen, you can actually pull up reference material so that you can dive deeper into that information so that you're making insights on the go. So for me, that's one of our really exciting features.
That's great. Now, just continuing on from there, Kamea, let me ask you, as a battle-weary MYOB Advanced implementer who's been there, done that in all sorts of businesses, what questions do you get asked by clients and what features do you really focus on in terms of ensuring that customers can get the value out of their data?
I guess it's key to, again, start by keeping the data clean, and putting accurate information, especially if you're coming from a previous system. You want to make sure you've got this clean platform in there. You want to make sure that what you're putting in there is good, clean data so that you can get the relevant information out. So from the very beginning, we always go through that process where we are telling our clients to make sure that the data extraction, that they go through the process of cleaning out any rubbish, I suppose, that they don't want to come across, right? Because if you bring rubbish in, then you're going to be reporting on rubbish as well. All right. But there's great features in the system, right? A lot of it we use for our attribute six, for example, and you can put things in place like predefined lists to make sure that you're not running into the situation where people are typing different sort of information, so that you are able to run those reports and get accurate data and analysis from it. You can make particular fields mandatory in the system. So something that is key to your business, that you need to ensure that people are actually entering that data in, so you can then report on it and have useful insights from that. So yeah, lots in there that a few of them I'll be touching base on later.
That's great, Kamea. Looking forward to your session. And I'm sure none of us have had any sales staff that have, put a full stop in a mandatory field and then wondered about the validity of our data. I see all the sales people shaking their heads. So let's leave that one alone. Now, Caleb, do you see any opportunities either internally or externally at GoTransit to better understand the data in the organisation?
Well, I think there's always opportunities to better understand data. I think that is a very broad question. So yeah, I think for us, we're always thinking about and wanting to see more information, asking questions a different way. Again, I think particularly in MYOB Advanced, I found recently some of the questions, even just in the last week I've had, is feedback from people saying, I want to understand more information about all this, but at the moment I've got to take things and put them together. So some of the beauty of the platform, I guess, in exploring data is that you can make those generic inquiries that we were talking about before and join them together, and with a little bit of training, work out how to find information from 5 or 6 different parts of the system and join all the dots. And so you can then have that opportunity to really explore the data and get some really valuable insights from multiple places in the system and do it really efficiently as well. So I think we're always exploring that, and also being ready to answer questions that just come up internally with, we can definitely do that in the system for you, and we can just spit that out into one screen, and you don't have to waste time trying to work out and do things manually.
Yeah, I think one of the key challenges is how we make data accessible for our users. And I think that focus on how you can leverage dashboards. I know you've done a lot of work around that, Caleb. I think you're probably the dashboard king, Mr. GI, as we like to call you. But I think there's lots of opportunities to leverage that better within our organisations. Now, Ken, I know that you've talked a little bit about, how you can get valuable data around the potential for sales. But how do you think data could potentially be used, not only across your organisation, but within other organisations to really bring competitive advantage?
I think the way that you manage your data, and then the way that you understand it, and the way that you share it, particularly within your own organisation, then just gives you the opportunity, I guess, to just give you that little bit of an edge. I think we all of our businesses are in a very competitive environment. So you need to have fast, quick, and accurate data so that you can make decisions. And in a business like ours, it's very fast moving. We don't have a forward pipeline. We enter, sell, deliver, 200 odd orders a day. So we move very quickly, and we need to get that data in place so that we can see it, so that we can understand it. Now, we're still trying to come to terms with dashboards. The jury's still out on dashboards, I've got to say, at the moment. But I think it's a quick way of seeing a very broad, big picture. But if you want the detail, you've got to dive into the detail in a different way. But it's super important within our business, and it's given us an advantage because we are able to move very quickly. So therefore, our customers don't have to hold stock anymore. If somebody orders product today, they get it tomorrow, anywhere on the east coast of Australia. So our delivery timeline is very quick, and you need to have good data to make that happen. So very important to us.
That's great. Now, Ronnie, you sort of mentioned this a little bit earlier, but how do you think the commercialization of artificial intelligence and machine learning will change the way that companies consume, analyze data, and the insights that are taken from that data?
Look, I think, as with all things in a company, there's an element of what you can do yourself internally, and there's an element of what you will engage a consultant or a professional firm to do. And I think you'll see the emergence of companies that will provide data analysis as a service, particularly with products such as MYOB Advanced, which has been adopted so widely across the world. I think that you'll find data analytic engines that will plug into that and start giving you insights that you couldn't see with, if I can put it that way, with a human eye. That models will come out and provide you with data, not only your own data, but other data. I think Ken's example is really quite fascinating to me, that once you've drawn the link between the forecast temperature and your own sales, gee, Ken, I think I need to buy some shares in your company. You should list, you should go public. That's gold. But yeah, I think that, I think that on a superficial level, we can all do it. But I think you will start using outside agencies who've got access to big data analytic models and artificial intelligence. So over time, and when I say over time, I think it'll be quite a rapid transformation. I think that you'll find over the next 2 years, this whole data analysis looking for insights will become a massive industry and start giving us really deep insights that we were not able to access previously.
Absolutely. Now, Bridget,
Yes.
always good to hear a product manager's perspective. What's ahead in terms of MYOB Advanced to improve the ability to maintain, analyze, and gain insights from data?
Wow, that's a really good question. We have one of the things that is coming out is us in our specific industry features is the ability to really drill down into sales data and performance of your data. So we've got increased visibility over those, that ability. And also the user interface. You know, when for those of you who were using MYOB, you know, years ago, it's really not the product that it is today. And coming out over time, over the next, you know, quarter and two, is an amazing user interface that will just improve users' ability to really deep dive into their data, but also use their data in a way that provides greater insight.
That's great, Bridget. And just perhaps expanding upon that, I think the user interface changes that are coming to Advanced are the fact that you'll actually be able to make customizations to the UI much more simply. You might be able to change fields in terms of the way that they lay out, and really just getting you know, customizations to support the business processes as opposed to the processes trying to support the software.
Yes, yes, and very intuitively led. So it becomes really simple for the user to track their pathways and their workflow so that it makes sense for them.
That's great. All right, fantastic. Thank you all for your feedback in today's panel. Really do appreciate it.